In my backyard, I have some overgrown trees that needed trimming, so I got set off into trimming the tree limbs down to size with a pole saw. As I was doing this, a neighbor from Honduras told me as I was working that back where he's from, they use machetes to cut through branches and limbs like this very quickly. And that got me thinking, which of these tools can cut down these tree limbs the fastest? This is the pole saw that I used. It's a little over 5 years old. The advantage of a tool like this is that it's on a pole and you can reach limbs that are very high up. Here's the listing for the saw that I'm using. To test how well this saw can cut, I'm going to track the amount of time it takes to cut through the tree limbs. This limb here is about 4 inches in diameter. At about 15.5 minutes, the majority of the branch comes crashing down. But if we take a closer look, it still is hanging on by a thread, so I continued counting even through this part as well. And no matter how you want to look at it, at 17 minutes in, the branch is completely detached from the tree. And you can see this isn't just some puny branch. It's a 4-inch diameter tree limb. So I'm going to cut a handful of other branches down using this pole saw and time all of them as well so we can get a good idea overall how well this saw is cutting. This big branch came down after 13.5 minutes. This one is mostly down after 19.5 minutes, but still hanging by a thread, and doesn't fully come down until around 22.5 minutes. And this last one took longer than any of the others because of the position it was in and because I was a bit tired. I was worried that it was going to fall on my head, so I took a little extra time with this one. Now it's time to test the machete out. This is the machete that I used. It's not a top-of-the-line machete by any means. It only cost $6 at Harbor Freight. It's just a simple blade with a saw back end to help cut through if we need to do a little bit of sawing. So which of these can cut down tree limbs the fastest is the question that I'm trying to figure out the answer to. When I first started using the machete, to start I was a little skeptical, so I started it off on some smaller branches. These are just 2 inches in diameter, so much smaller than the bigger ones that I was cutting down with the pole saw. So I was able to take care of this branch in just under 2 minutes, which was quite impressive. I wanted to try again with the machete. It was another small diameter branch, another 2-inch in diameter branch, but I wanted to try a little bit higher up to see how much of a difference it would make using the machete chopping up instead of at level. It was at this point that I was confident enough to try using the machete to cut one of the thicker 4-inch in diameter branches. So in just 21.5 minutes, the machete was able to cut through one of the 4-inch thick branches. That was quite impressive to me, especially considering that the machete was a $6 tool and the pole saw was $50. While a machete isn't going to be able to cut high up branches with perfectly clean lines, it's a very capable all-around cutter. Each tool has its place. For small branches less than 1 inch in diameter, loppers do a great job, but try to go bigger than that and loppers just aren't going to cut it. And while nothing beats a chainsaw, sometimes it isn't worth getting it started, or even buying one in the first place if you don't have a lot of use for it.